Hello, friend. Thank you for taking a moment out of your day to stop by the channel. Your time matters, and I'm grateful you're here. This time we have today could be the start of a whole new chapter in your story. Take a deep breath and allow yourself to honestly reflect and absorb this truth you desperately need to hear. Because today, we're going to look at something simple, something playful, something you might not have thought about since childhood. But behind this simple object is a story about purpose, creativity, timing, and the courage to follow an idea, even when it looks ridiculous to everyone else. This is the story of the hula hoop and the two creators who turned a plastic circle into a cultural phenomenon. Long before it became a toy, long before it became a fad, the hoop existed. Ancient Egyptians rolled hoops made of dried vines. Greek athletes used hoops for training and agility. Children in medieval England played with hoops made of willow branches. For thousands of years, the hoop has been a symbol of movement, rhythm, and play. It has appeared in cultures across the world, not because someone invented it, but because humans naturally gravitated toward it. There's something universal about a circle. It has no beginning, no end, just motion. And maybe that's why it survived for millennia. Fast forward to the late 1940s. Two young men in California, Arthur Spud, Melin and Richard Knerr, were experimenting in a garage. They weren't wealthy. They weren't famous. They weren't backed by investors. They were just curious, restless, driven by the desire to create something fun. They started a small company called Wham-O, named after the sound their slingshots made when they hit a target. Their early products were simple slingshots, blowguns, boomerangs. Nothing fancy, nothing groundbreaking, but everything they made had one thing in common. It brought people joy, and that was enough to keep them going. In the mid-1950s, they heard a story about children in Australia using bamboo hoops for exercise. Most people would have shrugged it off, but Melin and Knerr didn't think like most people. They saw possibility. They saw potential. They saw purpose in something simple. They tried making wooden hoops, too heavy. They splintered. They hurt kids. So they kept experimenting. Then they discovered a new plastic called Marlex, a material that had been invented but wasn't selling. Phillips Petroleum had warehouses full of it and no idea what to do with it. But Melin and Knerr saw something different. They heated long tubes of Marlex, bent them into circles, sealed the ends, and created the modern hula hoop. A simple idea, a simple design. But simplicity is often where genius hides. Now here's where the story becomes legendary. Wham-O didn't buy ads. They didn't run commercials. They didn't hire celebrities. They went to playgrounds. They went to parks. They put hoops in kids' hands and let the product speak for itself. Crowds formed. Kids laughed. Parents asked where they could buy one. And then it happened. 25 million hula hoops sold in 4 months. Stores couldn't keep them in stock. Factories ran 24 hours a day. Wham-O was producing 20,000 hoops per day at the peak of the craze. The hula hoop became a symbol of joy, movement, childhood, American creativity, and the power of a simple idea. It wasn't just a toy. It was a cultural moment. Before we go any further, I want to ask you for something simple. If this message is helping you, take a moment to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment. Not for me, but for the people who will watch this after you. Your comment, your story, your struggle, your breakthrough might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. You could be the reason a stranger doesn't give up. You could be the voice that reminds someone they're not alone. So share something. Anything. Your words have the power to change lives. Now, let's return to our story. The hula hoop was just the beginning. Wham-O went on to create or popularize some of the most iconic toys in history. The frisbee, the slip and slide, the super ball, silly string, the hacky sack, trackball, and the boogie board. Think about that. Two guys in a garage with no roadmap, no guarantees, no certainty, ended up shaping childhood for generations. Not because they chased money, not because they chased fame, but because they followed curiosity and stayed faithful to the purpose inside them. So, what happened to the hula hoop? It didn't disappear. It evolved. Today, hula hoops are used for fitness, dance, circus arts, weighted exercise, flow performance, and children's play. There are LED hoops, collapsible hoops, polypro hoops, weighted hoops. The hoop didn't die. It transformed. Just like we're meant to. Here's the truth hidden inside the story. Purpose doesn't always look like a grand mission. Sometimes it's a simple idea that brings joy to others. Melin and Knerr didn't know they were creating a cultural icon. They were just following the spark inside them. And that spark, that curiosity, became their purpose. Your purpose might be the same. It might not look dramatic. It might not look impressive. It might not look like what the world expects. But if it brings joy, if it brings meaning, if it brings connection, then it matters. And it deserves to be followed. Thank you for spending this time with me today. I'm grateful for you. And I hope you continue choosing freedom, one intentional step at a time. Because purpose isn't always loud. It isn't always obvious. Sometimes it's a small idea, a simple action, a quiet nudge that ends up changing everything. Stay curious, stay open, and keep moving toward the life you were meant to live.